Okay, now that we're recording, I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Emily Trolia, and I'm a practicum student with academic support programs. So, as always, thanks for joining us for our Tuesday workshops. Today is going to be about creating a post-midterm plan. So, it's hard to believe that we're already at that point in the semester, but now is a great time to kind of evaluate where you're at and see what you can do to improve or maintain your grades going forward. So, here is an overview about what we're going to talk about today. First, we're going to look at evaluating where you currently stand in all of your classes and where your study habits lie right now. And then next, we're going to talk about making a game plan for the rest of the semester and how you can improve or maintain your grades in all of your classes. And then after we've created a plan, we're going to talk about just some tips to keep in mind, for the next 7.5 weeks, just some little pointers and tips that you can use for success for the last half of the semester. So, before you create a plan, you should evaluate where you stand in each of your classes. So, if the professor hasn't posted your midterm grade, which they should be in the next couple days if they haven't already, you may need to go into Blackboard and calculate the total points out just to see where you stand. And once you know what all these grades are, just take a good look at them and see which classes you want to improve and which ones you might be doing all right in, but maybe you could boost it a little bit just to give your GPA a boost by the end of the semester. Um, and then once you know where your grades are for each of your classes, there are just a handful of questions that you can look at and evaluate for yourself. So in our time management video, we talked about the importance of keeping up with your planner, but by midterm, a lot of people have just forgotten about that planner and it might be collecting dust somewhere in your dorm. But now is a great time to get back in the swing of using it. And then next, if you haven't been keeping up with your planner, it's quite possible that you have missed some assignments. So if you do look at Blackboard or whatever grading platform your professor is using and you see some missing grades, check out the syllabus or check with the professor for their policy on late work because a late grade is going to be better than a zero. So if they do allow late submissions and you have some missing work in that class, now would be a great time to catch up on those assignments and get those turned in and try and recoup as many points as you possibly can. And then next, you should evaluate what your study habits look like right now. So, if you've noticed as the weather's turning that you're spending a little bit less time studying than you were a couple weeks ago, now's a great time to get back into a good routine and, re-solidify some of those study habits. So, you might need to say no to a baseball game or no to hanging out with a friend every once in a while, just to get back into those good habits and devote some time to studying. And then once you've kind of looked at all of these topics, you should be able to answer the question of what needs to change going forward. So once you know what you need to change, that's what's going to help you create a good plan for the rest of the semester. I think before we talk about creating a plan, a good topic to cover is smart goal setting. So before I play this video, does anybody know what smart goal setting is and want to take a stab at it?
Um, Not like having too high of expectations or like unrealistic goals.
Yeah, exactly. So the R is relevant. So and the A is attainable. So I think that covers both of those. You want it to be, reasonable enough that you can reach it, but not so little that you can achieve it with minimal effort. But the video is going to go into a little bit more detail. And then after that, we'll talk about creating a plan and how you can put it into place.
Now, anyone can set a goal, but if you really want to achieve your goals this year, setting SMART goals can help. This short video will teach you how to make your own SMART goals. Now let's get started. A SMART goal is a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. A SMART goal can be behavioral, academic, or social. SMART is a helpful acronym for setting these types of goals, but you don't necessarily have to go through the letters in order. In fact, it can be helpful when brainstorming to start with the S and the T. A specific goal is one that is well defined and focused. One way to decide if a goal is specific is to ask yourself, can I describe what I want to accomplish in one phrase or sentence? A time-bound goal has a target date to bring it into focus. Here you want to ask yourself, how much time will it take me to reach this goal? A goal that is relevant to you is one that positively influences your life as a unique individual. To decide if a goal is relevant to you, ask yourself, will pursuing this goal prevent me from doing something that may be more important to me? Next, a measurable goal allows you to see the changes you are striving for. To figure out a measurable goal, ask yourself, how am I now and how will I be different? Lastly, an achievable goal is one that is realistic and worth the energy, effort, and change required to achieve it. Consider if your goal fits these parameters by asking, what is my motivation for achieving this goal? Like we said in the beginning, anyone can set a goal, but using the SMART approach for your goals will make your objectives much easier to achieve. Now,
Okay, so I just wanted a little bit of an intro on SMART goal setting because I think it's a good topic to keep in mind when you are creating your plan for the rest of the semester. But here's a little example of what your plan could look like. So you could write this out in a notebook or keep it in front of your planner or even create a working document on your computer. But regardless, it should be somewhere that you're going to be able to keep track of it for the rest of the semester. And, you can monitor your progress, make any changes if you need to, set your goal a little bit higher if you're finding that it's been pretty easy to keep up with so far. Um, but basically, all that you're going to do is write down each of your classes, what grade you have so far, and then write out a detailed plan for how you are going to improve or maintain your grade for the rest of the semester. So, as you're creating your plan, there are several things that you're going to want to keep in mind. Um, First, you should ask yourself if there are any resources that you are needing. So, if you need content tutoring, for example, and you're in a math or a chemistry class, you could reach out to the math lab or you could go to help desk for chemistry. Or if the homework software or lecture software is giving you trouble for one of your classes, you could get in touch with IT and see if they can offer you any assistance. But regardless, if there are any resources that you need for any of your classes, you should include how you're going to go about getting these resources in your plan. Next, you'll want to keep in mind any time restraints that might be around. So, whether this is work, doctor's appointments, or any other extracurriculars, keep these in mind when you're making your schedules. So, um, that's not to say that these are going to create roadblocks. You just need to keep them in mind and work your schedule around these restraints so that they don't cause time conflicts in the future. And then next, you should think about the study skills that you want to use. So if things are working for you pretty well, make note of that in your plan, and say, well, I've been using concept maps, and that has really helped me grasp the topics for history class so far, and I'm going to keep doing that. Or if your note taking technique just isn't working out for you, maybe look into a new one. Or you could watch the reading strategies video that we did last week if, for example, you're really struggling reading with your science classes. Um, just check out any of those workshops or check out your textbook and see what study skills you can implement or how you can reinforce what you're already using. And then next, think about who can help you. So if you haven't been going to office hours or SI sessions, now would be a great time. So these tutoring sessions and SI sessions are free resources that are there to help you. Or if you have a friend in the class and you know of a study group going on, ask them if you could join them. These people are here to help, and it's great to look for those free resources before you look into paying someone for tutoring. And then once you've taken each of these questions into consideration, then just write down a few detailed sentences about what you want to do for each of your classes. So the sentence should clearly identify how you're going to achieve your goal for the rest of the semester. So instead of just writing down, I'm going to study for history an hour every day, you should say something along the lines of, I will continue to ask the instructor for help when I have questions, and I will attend the weekly SI sessions on Mondays. And then finally, I will study on my own time for an hour immediately after class and use concept maps to help. Um, so instead of just one sentence, I'm going to study more, the second one goes into a little bit more detail about what exactly you're going to do. Okay. So once you have your plan in place, there are just some reminders that we wanted to reinforce about things that you can do to help keep yourself on track. And like I've said several times, most of these things have been covered in our past workshops. So as always, go and check those out. I think one of the most important ones that we've done so far and most applicable to creating a post midterm plan is going to be our time management workshop. So we did that one at the beginning of the semester, and we're going to do another one on March 30th if you want to check it out. Um, but if you haven't seen it, I'm just going to touch on a couple of the more important topics that I think we covered in the workshop. So you should really start preparing early. I know we're just now at midterm and it's hard to think about finals, but those are going to be coming up in just a few weeks. So once you know what your final schedule is going to look like and whether or not the finals are going to be cumulative for this semester, um, just start keeping that studying in mind and planning out a few weeks in advance, just devoting a little bit of time to each class, and that's going to help you from having to cram at the end of the semester. And then we also talked about creating a study schedule. So specifically, we talked about how you can create a 5-day study plan for studying for an exam. And I think that's going to be a great technique you could use when it comes to studying for finals. So you can adjust it to however many days you need, but it's a great way that shows you how you can start with the oldest or most difficult material and then work up to the newest or the easiest chunk of material while compiling and reviewing and preparing for all the material so that the day before the exam you can just study it all together, look at it all together just like it's going to be on the exam. And then finally, like I said earlier, just keep up with your planner. You should be keeping up with assignments and quizzes and know when all your exams are coming up and just making any changes that you might need to make as the professor announces them. This is just going to help hold you accountable, and help you achieve your goal by the end of the semester. And then next, like I said, go to office hours or go to tutoring. These are here for your benefit. If you're struggling with a homework assignment or if there's lecture material that you just didn't get, the professor should be happy to help you in office hours. And another thing to remember is that if your final is cumulative, office hours are a great time to take old exams and ask the professor if they can clarify some questions that you missed. So, if there's a math concept that you repeatedly missed on an exam or a quiz, and that concept is going to be covered again on the final, it would really benefit you to, take that old exam or take those old quizzes to the professor's office hours and see if they can help you rework those, because that'll help boost your grade on the final. And then finally, you got to remember to take care of yourself. So work in breaks into your study time and work in rewards, because it's easy to get tunnel vision at the end of the semester and just stay so focused that we're not taking breaks. And, you might convince yourself that you have to study for 5 hours a day, but that's how you get burnout, and you'll really probably perform better on your finals if you work in some self-care time to your study schedule. And then, as always, I want to plug some of our services that we offer with academic support programs. Other than the workshops, two of the services that we offer are academic consultations or student success coaching. So, consultations are sessions that help you put these study skills that we've talked about into practice. So, you know, get one scheduled and bring your materials to the session, and our coaches can help show you how you could put some of these study skills into practice for some of your classes. And then we also have student success coaching, which is designed to help you navigate your freshman year. We all know how much of an adjustment it is from, your senior year in high school to your freshman year in college. So our student success coaches are here to help you make that transition and make it as smooth as we possibly can. Um, if you are an upperclassman, we do have student success coaches that are devoted to certain departments or certain fields. So if you get in touch with us, we can get you in contact with the right coach. And then finally, you can check out our website for more information on any of these topics or for information about past workshops. Or you could shoot us an email or drop by at any time. We are in JCE, which is between Weir Hall and Rebel Market. We're on the lower level, so we're right across from the ID Center. And then I'm going to stop the recording really quick.